Altruism is the desire to be beneficial. It's the intention of creating positive change in the world around you without the expectation of reward. Now, a humanitarian aid organization is a group of people collaborating towards accomplishing a specific set of goals such that they can be more beneficial together than the sum total of their actions if they were working separately. So the actions that a humanitarian aid organization can engage in always fall into one of three categories: existence, education, or empowerment. You can provide the basic necessities of existence: food, water, shelter, sanitation, medical. You can provide the relevant education, information and awareness about what's going on and how to help. Or you can provide the tools of empowerment, the actual physical tools and resources that we use to make the world a better place. But that's the entire spectrum of potential positive change that an organization can offer beings. You can see that this is true because you can't use the tools of empowerment if you don't have the relevant education to know what's happening and what to do, and you can't obtain that education unless you have the basic necessities of existence. So now let's look at the common structure of humanitarian aid and think of it as held up by three pillars: the who, the what, and the how, or the body, mind, and action. At the center is that heart of altruism, the why we should help. So the body, or the who, is the people, the volunteers, donors, and collaborators who make it happen. The mind, or the what, is the vision and transparency of the organization, like what are we trying to accomplish, what do we want to do, and the transparency of what are we doing now and what have we done in the past. So the action column, or the how, is the gear and procedures. What do I mean by gear? The gear is the sum total of all physical objects that the organization uses, and the procedures are how they use them. So that's the common structure of humanitarian aid. Let's look at how Altruist Relief is trying to improve upon that model. First, the most glaring omission is in transparency. The lack of transparency in virtually all humanitarian aid organizations can make it feel like you're donating to a black hole, or like you're throwing coins into a wishing well. For example, it's very hard to figure out what the Red Cross spent the $500 million on that it raised for Haiti after the earthquake. So we're trying to address that by creating a user-friendly financial page showing photos of every receipt and donation that come into the organization, so that anybody can trace where their $20 went and find out approximately what it accomplished. Another thing that we're trying to improve upon in the transparency is the understanding of general operations. So we're posting regular videos of all of our projects and what's actually taking place. So often volunteers have to pay large sums of money in order to volunteer with an organization, as though they're a burden to that organization. So we're trying to create a volunteer experience without expenses, so that if a person can get to the location that we're conducting a project, their basic necessities of existence are provided for them so that they can live without spending their own money, which can be crucially beneficial in people in lower income situations. Another way that we're trying to improve the volunteer experience is by making it so that anyone can help from their hometown. By decentralizing the fundraising process and the means of production, we're making it so that people can get involved all over the world. The gear is another way that we're trying to improve upon the previous model of humanitarian aid. We're redesigning almost every object to be collapsible, lightweight, easily reproducible, and made from recycled or inexpensive materials. So for example, our 2,000 square foot tents that we make for 50 times cheaper than it would cost to buy a comparable sized dome or yurt are 10 times lighter and we can set them up with human power in just a few hours. And we can cook 100-gallon meals on collapsible rocket stoves using renewable resources and make them from recycled materials. With regard to the procedures, we're trying to discover the upper limit of possible efficiency with which to conduct the operation, and we're creating how-to videos for every element of the project, from cooking rice to building rocket stoves. And then finally, in the vision, we're trying to reimagine the structure of a humanitarian aid organization and provide the necessities of existence as the missing core of all aid. We're trying to recursively improve every element of our structure and approach, from the gear to the goals, by communicating with people in other organizations to learn of their successes and their challenges. We're using this agile tool to target positive change in key areas.